Alright, here we go. My first try at hide glue. I'm making a sinew-backed bow. I got a bunch of sinew here. We had a little debate online about what glues to use, and I decided to go with the hide glue because I want the drying reflex that hide glue gives, where I guess Titebond doesn't give it. So this is my first try. What I did is I got an old pan here and a hot plate. You can see the hot plate right now. Then I got this rawhide here, and all these tips are just wasted always, so I'm going to cut these tips off. Usually dog treats. I got a dog right here waiting for some. I'll give him a little piece. What I'm going to do is cut these up into small pieces. I've heard that some people grind them up, but I don't have a grinder. So I'm just going to do as small pieces as I can. Ooh. Do it on here so I don't flip on the floor. And I'm going to add these to the pot, and I'm going to cut them all off and cut them all up. I have about just a couple inches of water in here, and I want to get enough chips so it completely fills that. Then I'm going to cover it and just slowly boil it and stick it at my house for about 5 hours, I think. Well, I don't know, I've heard up to 10 hours, and I've heard up to as little as 3 hours. So we'll see how it goes. This so far is the sinew that I have right here. I'm not thinking this is enough. Got some paper in here. So I'm going to strip out a couple more pieces yet while I'm letting this cook. So then hopefully at the end I'll have enough to back the bow. So like I said, wish me luck. Alright, I got my pot full of most of my rawhide chunks. I cut a lot of it off of here. I'm going to probably come back in a few hours after this cooks down a bit and add some more. What else I'm going to do too is, as I process the sinew, as I process this, there's a lot of little, some shorter pieces that I don't necessarily want on my bow, or wouldn't hurt, putting in here. I think that's kind of a long one, but I'm going to take some scraps, and all the scraps I have left from processing those tendons, the little short pieces and the chunks, the big chunks that won't come apart, and then I'll put those in there too and cook them up. And we'll see, like that little guy right there, that's a perfect candidate. Now what I'm going to do is it looks like it's starting to come to a boil here. Just starting to boil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it and just let it cook for hours and hours until it turns into like a paste, I guess. Not a paste, I guess just keep getting thicker and thicker and thicker. Like I said, this is my first time, so I have no idea how it's going to turn out. So here we go. A little salt and pepper. Got soup. Thought I'd just show you the concoction I got going here. There it is. I'll let that cook down for a while, and hopefully we'll have some glue. Stuff's been boiling for about 2 hours now. Peek inside. Yikes, it's all gray and nasty. What I did is I cut up, like I said, all the chunks of this, some short pieces of that sinew, and then I had a couple little rear leg sinews that were like, probably like that long. 3 of them, I think. And I just tossed those in there too. One of the recipes that I had read said I should get some dew claws or some sort of hoof and cook that in there too, but I didn't, because I don't have hoofs. But yeah, I'll give you a peek at this here, and you can see how nasty it is too. Well, not nasty, it's good. Okay, so here we go with the view of the hide glue cooking. As you can see, it's gray in color, and everything in there is all soft and getting cooked through and through. So that's what it looks like now. I'll take a picture in a while, and we'll see how it looks later. It's been cooking for about 5 hours now. What I just got done doing is I just got done taking a spoon and dipping out all the big chunks. And now, what I'm going to do for a while is just let it thin out. It's not boiling. I've heard of people boiling it, and I've heard of people just simmering it. I've been kind of doing both here. Right now it's just going to simmer. I'm going to let it simmer for a little bit for another, well actually it's been here now, this is 6 hours. It's 4 o'clock, started at 10. So it's 6 hours now. What I'm going to do now is let it cook a little bit, simmer up some water. Because I just added some water here before I took it out like an idiot. So I'm going to let some of that water cook out a little bit, and then I'm going to cool it down and let it gel up. And I think I'm going to put it outside and freeze it. So we'll try that, and I will let you know. I cooked it for 5.5 hours. All the skin chunks and all the goodies. And this is what I got. Ooh, yes. Just a big old, this is what it smells like. That's what it smells like. That's what it looks like.
Oh.
So now I think I just let that dry.
Oh.
I let that dry up, I think, and then when I want to reconstitute it, I just reconstitute it. My wife just took off. But yeah, so I'll just keep you informed of how it turns out here. Here we are after cooking the hide glue for 6 hours. This has been 13 hours since I started cooking at 10 o'clock this morning. Right now it is 11:20 at night. It's thickened up a lot. If you shake the pan, it gels like this. I never did freeze it. It's just been sitting inside. And I can tip the pan, it just stays there. So I'm assuming that I just let this keep going until it dries. I might take it out of here and spread it out on something a little thinner, but I might look into if it gets affected negatively by freezing it or not. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, there it is. So here we are, 24 hours later after I started making this. I started yesterday at 10 a.m. I cooked it for 6 hours till 4. Shut the heat plate off, and since then it's just been sitting here. And it turned into a mass, very jello-like. Now it has a hard surface, jiggles a little bit. But from it getting this way, I can see that now all I have to do is, like some people say, I could freeze it, leave it like this, heat it up, turn it into juice again, liquefy it again, and use it for my bowl. Or I could dry it up like this, take the chunks, grind them up, and then reconstitute it with water and heat it again, and get my glue back. So I think that's a ticket. I think I did it. Again, the recipe is I put rawhide chunks in here and sinew chunks in here. Some recipes called for hoofs, but I didn't use any. So yeah, 6 hours, rawhide chunks, sinew chunks, water, a lot of nasty smell, and you got yourself some hide glue.